Hello and welcome to Quartz Like Your Car Brochure channel. In today's episode, the Bedford CF Dormobile Calypso. Hello and welcome back, and if you're new to Quartz Like, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps the channel. Anyway, back to today's episode. Yes, it's a commercial vehicle again. Occasionally we look at commercials here on Quartz Like. Yeah, majority of stuff is passenger vehicles, but occasionally commercials, and occasionally, your motorhomes, your campers do appear on the channel as well. This is one such occasion, so let's take a look at this brochure from 1978. And here is today's brochure. Yeah, it's from 1978 and a UK brochure. One of my favourite vans actually, the Bedford CF, ran from 1969 to 86, kind of like became your competitor for the Ford Transit, replacing the Bedford CA, like I say, in 69. Dormobile, however, that's kind of like a 50s era camper van, motor caravan, motorhome conversion company in the UK. And they actually initially based on the Bedford CAs, and certainly Dormobile very much became a name very much that came hand in hand with Bedford and Bedford CF conversions, although there were other manufacturers who used Dormobile as well. Now this particular one, if we just zoom in, is the camper van that they named the Calypso. Now I seem to remember there's quite a few different names for these camper vans. They had lots of different sorts of conversions. The ones I can think a bit about are the Romany ones, which weren't a great success, and certainly if you find one of them today, very, very rare. The Freeway was probably like the best, certainly more stylish than the Romany, and that was also available on the Transit as well. And then you got this, the Calypso. Now when the Calypso came out, it was very much a downturn in sales for Dormobile, and as such this came out with a more of a lower price model. It was like the Freeway but with more basic fittings and smaller windows, and when you see the windows in this you think, oh, they do look particularly small, but that was all to do with cost cutting. And then there were other things like the Land Cruiser, and there was one called the DeVille, which was a little bit different for Dormobile, as it was kind of like a box van type design, more for sort of like hire companies, etc. But anyway, this is the one I picked today, the Calypso. Picked this one because, like I say, it was a downturn in sales for Dormobile, and also it was a low price model. So, Quartz Like, we're really here looking at sort of like the average vehicle, and this was kind of like your average camper van, the camper van that was possibly within your price reach. And talking about price, we do have a price list on these as well, which we'll certainly have a look at. Before all that, let's open the brochure up and see what's inside. And as we do open the brochure up, with some very nice sort of 70s images of the inside of the Canva, and indeed it looks very nice. Where we'll go though, we'll start looking at some of this text before we start viewing some of these images. So it starts by saying, Dormobile lead the way again. The new Calypso model, a conversion of the reliable and versatile Bedford CF220 and CF250 van. And like I say, I always really liked the Bedford CFs actually. Bit of an alternative to the Transit, and dare I say, I kind of preferred the design, a bit more curvy. 220 and 250. 250 was a bit more heavy duty. Takes all that is good in the famous Dormobile Freeway model and includes many practical new features. Like I say, the Freeway I think was the one to have, but it says includes many practical and new features. I think they were more looking at cost cutting more than anything. The interior seating arrangement is entirely new in concept. It provides 2 really comfortable forward facing passenger seats plus 2 inward facing seats where children can be snugly tucked in. Alternatively, the seats can be arranged to give 2 comfortable inward facing bench type seats for 2 people each side. The seats are covered in attractive, durable and practical multi-stripe material. The famous Dormobile elevating roof, which gives 8 foot of headroom, has been increased inside to give even more space for ease of movement and roof bunk sleeping. The roof also incorporates a makeup mirror with fluorescent light. The furniture layout has been completely redesigned to include generous wardrobe space, refrigerator standard, compact stainless steel sink and cooker unit, exceptional working surface area and cupboard and drawer space. The furniture is constructed of durable, double-faced melamine board which has outstanding resistance to burn or scratch marks. It is beautifully styled plain chocolate brown on the doors and worktops, complemented by beige coloured cabinet shells. The floor is covered with felt backed vinyl to match the furniture and seat colours. Yeah, very much a 70s palette. The comfortable sleeping arrangement comprises a transverse double bed and 2 bunk beds in the roof. The table, which makes up the centre base of the double bed, stores neatly behind the wardrobe cabinet. A child's bunk can also be erected in the cab. The water tank is contoured to fit behind the cooker sink unit. The filler cap is located inside for safety and is easily reached from the back door. There is a built-in water level gauge, a really practical and valuable feature. Outside, a bold full-length kick-up flash enhances the lines of the Calypso and make it stand out in the crowd. Tinted glass completes the distinctive features and gives style and privacy. The Calypso is another outstanding vehicle designed by the originators of the modern motor caravan. And there we have a glimpse on the inside. I think it looks really nice, to be honest with you. I'd be quite happy with one of these today, to be fair. Even though it's kind of like your cheaper end model, I think it's really got everything that you need. Look at inside the cab. Those seats in the up position. And a bit of a look upstairs. And then we get a look at the fridge. Makeup mirror. A little bit of storage areas and of course the bed. And a look inside just sort of the main image, and you can really see that keel even, how much of a bend it had on the CFs. And if we move the camera up, we can see how that roof folds up. And then just a bit of a reminder how it looks on the outside when it folds up from that one side. A very common way of doing this to increase height on these campers in the 70s. You had this sort of like side opening. Sometimes you had that they all popped up, but this has gone for like a side opening one. When I kind of like think of all the campers, of course, today if you wanted to buy a camper today and you looked at old models, I mean, if you looked at the old Volkswagen vans, which certainly this reminds me of with that opening at the top there, you could never actually afford a really good example of one of those, but I think these Bedford vans were as good, dare I say, even better than a Volkswagen van, and you could probably pick these up pretty cheap if you can actually find one. And then we open up to the back page. We get some nice images, particularly that one from the rear, which we'll certainly zoom in on. A bit of the chassis details, a bit of the standard equipment. weights, etc. That's where we can see the dates and the addresses as well. And then once we've had a look at that, we'll have a look at the prices and how much you can actually get one of these in the late 70s for. And then looking from the rear, like I said, interesting design. I like the Bedford CFs anyway. I liked the curvy design. Interesting with the Calypso, isn't it? This sort of like flash down the side there. I don't think I've ever actually seen one with that graphic on there, but certainly interesting. We can look at the windows now. Certainly smaller, presumably, like I said, for cost cutting purposes. You can see how big a window, you know, the CF was made to have, and you can see how much smaller that is, just to give you an idea how small the windows were in this for a bit of a cost cutting exercise. Although you could argue, do you really need windows bigger than that anyway? You can see a little bit of a footstep there, easy to get out and in and out. And of course, the advantage over these were with the rear engine Volkswagens, of course, you get these nice doors at the back. You don't struggling for space with having the engine back here, do you? So I think they made a better camper, but like I say, you try and buy a Volkswagen camper today and you're from the 70s, you'd really struggle to afford one. But I think you could probably afford to buy one of these if there are any left, because of course Volkswagens didn't last any better. In fact, they were an extremely rust prone van, which people forget about. They're only really still around today because so many people are interested in them, so many people restore them. Not the same with the Bedford. I mean, not many people would buy an old rusty Bedford and spend the money to restore them into this as new condition again, I would suspect. Anyway, let's move down. So it says chassis details, conversion of the Bedford CF220 and CF250 van with a high specification cab, independent front suspension, telescopic hydraulic shock absorbers front and rear, rack and pinion steering, dual circuit hydraulic brakes and servo assistant all round. Choice of a 1.8 on the CF220 and a 2.3 litre petrol engine or 2 litre GM diesel engine. It gives you a bit of a list of the standard equipment, so seating and bedding behind the front seats. There can be either 2 forward facing seats with 2 inward facing seats or 4 inward facing seats. Synchron cooker unit, double faced in melamine, 2 hinge lids, stainless steel sink and draining board, electric pump, plastic water tank, flush outlet, twin burner and grill cooker, cupboards and cutlery drawer. Wardrobe, refrigerator and cupboard unit, spacious full length wardrobe, built-in refrigerator, cupboard and drawer space unit, double faced in melamine, windows in smoky face tinted glass, 1 rear passenger window on left hand side and 2 on the right side, winged vent in centre of right side rear window, curtains, attractive matching curtains to front, side, rear door and roof window, easy glide rails. Floor covering, main body floor is felt backed in vinyl, rubber mats in cab, dining, generous melamine surface table stored at rear of wardrobe, gas bottles, accommodation for 1 bottle in sink unit and 1 for refrigerator in wardrobe unit, interior lighting, fluorescent at centre of roof, standard Bedford lights in cab and over rear doorway, seat belts for driver and front passenger, and then other features, extra large working surface on wardrobe, refrigerator, cupboard unit, vanity mirror in roof, water level gauge and trim, multi-striped, exceptional durability, 100% cloth. And then we got optional equipment, styled roof rack, child bunking cab, Dormobile paint and a tow bar. And then we get some dimensions and weights. Another very 70s image there, and like I say, we can see that bit of a unusual sort of tape stripe type flash, which I've never actually seen, to be honest with you. We do get this unusual little graphic showing you the layout of the vans as well. Down the bottom here, published by Bedford Commercial Vehicles, Vauxhall Motors Limited, Luton, England. A little bit of a code, the 78 meaning 1978 and printed in England. And we've also got the Dormobile address there in Kent. And then, as promised, we've got this price list for these vans, which is a nice thing to have with the brochure, actually, in this sort of like typewritten, very cheap formats, but nevertheless it's still very nice to have. So let's have a look and see how much you can buy one of these for. Okay, so we get the price list, and it tells it's effective from the 3rd of December 1979, and it's for the Dormobile Calypso, built on that Bedford CF van. Now, whichever van you went for, the heavy duty or the light duty version, the Dormobile price was the same for the conversion, £2,024. But of course, don't forget you have to add the price of the actual van itself from Bedford. So the light duty version, or the CF220, was £3,209.60. And then for the more heavy duty, the CF250, it was £3,324.80. So the total price that would actually make it would be, for the light duty one, the total car price of the van, the conversion plus paint, would be £6,525, sorry, £20.19. The same thing for the heavy duty, the CF250. For your Dormobile conversion, your price of your van plus paint, £6,663.71. Now this is 79, so there's still quite an expensive vehicle, to be honest with you. I would still expect you to have a pretty good job to be able to afford one of these, because after all, you're probably not going to use it every day. You still need your everyday car as well, so still quite pricey. But like I say, Dormobile were struggling at this time, so this Calypso was a lower price model, so you never know, you could have got a bit of a discount on that, I would imagine. And then it goes on to tell us what's included in the price, basically, starting with just the van without the conversion. So you can have the choice of the heavy or light duty van, and then it includes code 246, which is a high output heater, code 248, which is some kind of battery, code 165, which is rear quarter bumpers in chrome, code 536, which are rear interior lamp, and it comes in primer, because vans at this period you could actually order them in primer, because quite often you wanted to paint your van in your own company colours anyway, so why pay more for a nice gloss finish? Now the interesting thing with these and camper vans is there was the option to get it in primer and then Dormobile themselves spraying it in their sort of Dormobile camper colours, which we'll certainly have a look at in a bit. Moving down, it tells us about the Dormobile price and what that includes. So carpet in cab, heavy duty vinyl in working area, Doormatic seats, refrigerator, tinted glass to side and roof windows, and the paint colour flash, which was that stripe going down the side there. And then of course you could get your extras on top of that. So you could get your Dormobile paint finish on the primer van, which was £311 and change. So basically you do have to pay more for that paint on your primer van. So I guess you've got the choice of either ordering your van from Bedford in the colour that they have in stock, or just get it in primer and then pay the extra for Dormobile to paint it in one of their colours. Other extras are a cab bunk, underseal, which I guess is extra underseal that Bedford wouldn't put on that, I'm assuming. So you'd think that these would probably last a bit longer if you had that underseal there. Other extras, the gas, and then finally a styled roof rack. Oh, and it also says Vauxhall factory paint, so If you order your Bedford van from Vauxhall Bedford, their factory paint was £130. If you ordered it in primer and then got Dormobile to paint it, it was £311. So, not sure why you would specifically ask a Dormobile to paint it, as it's like 3 times the price, unless you specifically wanted one of the Dormobile colours, I guess. It does tell you the colours at the end there, so Dormobile could paint it in Calypso red, spring yellow, Romany brown, Channel blue, freeway green, Deville blue, Spanish gold, solar orange, Dover white or black. It tells us Bedford Dormobile motor caravans are marketed in the UK through Vauxhall Bedford dealers. Guarantee, the same guarantee is given with the conversion as that is given by the makers of the van or chassis. Dormobile Limited reserve the right to amend or alter the specifications or price of any model without notice. And again there we've got the little Dormobile address. So there we go, thank you so much for watching today, and Quarterlight and the Bedford CF Dormobile Calypso. An interesting conversion, an interesting van. Do you remember these? Either the conversion or just the van themselves. Please just in the comments what you think. Always very interesting to read. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That is completely free and helps the channel greatly and helps bring you better content, and also helps you not miss another episode. Thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care and goodbye. So like I say, subscribing is completely free. I put a large circle there with a cat logo and the Quarterlight logo. Click on that and that helps you subscribe. It is free, and like I say, does help the channel. I've also added a couple of videos that are coming up there as well in the boxes. If you've got time, have a look at them, or indeed look at any of the back catalogue. Many hundreds in fact of brochure review videos over the past year or so. Finally, if you do want to become a member, very easy to do so. Go to the home page and you become a member for a very low price, or indeed through Patreon you can contribute, or there is an option now called Super Thanks. So that's a little $sign. You can donate any money to help the channel that you like. But overall, thank you for watching, take care and goodbye.